Hello, you are listening to the OmniTalk Fast Five, brought to you in partnership with the A&M Consumer and Retail Group, Firework, SPS Commerce, and Sezzle. Wall Street Journal is reporting.
Let's go to more bad news.
Yes. Oh my God. Headline number 3, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that there are renewed fears of growing work stoppages at West Coast ports. According to the Journal, Jonathan Gold, vice president for supply chain at the National Retail Federation, said importers are increasingly concerned about a series of targeted labor actions that have disrupted major ports while in contract talks between employers and dock workers approach the 1-year mark with little sign of progress. And importers got a taste of port disruptions last week when dock workers in key positions failed to show up for shifts at the nation's busiest container port complex at Los Angeles and Long Beach on the evening of April 6th and into the next day, effectively shuttering operations for 24 hours.
Don't want your operation shuttered, man.
No, my
favorite
quote, if you read this, like if you do, you should go in and read this in its entirety. But my favorite quote was like the debate of whether or not Good Friday was a holiday. Like they actually one side was like, well, didn't show up because it was a holiday. Right. And they're like, this has never been a holiday that we have.
Seems like something that should be written into the union contract
for sure,
very explicitly. But.
Okay, but we have Jeff here.
Yes,
I have to imagine your retail and CPG clients are asking you about this. What in the world are you telling them? How should they handle this?
Yeah, look, I think there's going to be some continued disruption. And by the way, you're right. These headlines are just a page right out of feels like 2007. But no, I think the disruption is inevitable in terms of kind of the current administration and their strong support of the unions. I think the question that we have to answer and ask for our customers is how long, what impact, and really what do you do to mitigate? So look, I think we've kind of polled internally within CRG, what do we think the actual likelihood of some disruption leading to a strike? And I think we're leaning on, better than a 50-50 shot here that there is some meaningful disruption into the port. I think the good news is the level of imports that we sit here today versus what we were at 5 years ago is dramatically different as retailers still work through some of the over inventory positions that they're in carrying into this year. The question that I have is this disruption going to extend into the holiday season? And then you have a period of pinch point that can become meaningful. So what we're advising, I think, is being a little bit pragmatic about, we still are over inventoried. Do we have opportunities to carry certain SKUs or certain pockets of our inventory that has higher turn, bring it in earlier, carry a little bit heavier as we think about coming into a tumultuous holiday season if this thing extends with anything that's longer of a strike.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But it's a slippery slope. I would say, bringing an inventory on in a market where you're already over inventoried isn't really the great answer. So you really have to be targeted in terms of where you're going to over invest in a short amount of time.
And Jeff, my question for you too is, I mean, there was talk when we were having all the backup at the ports last year, there was talk about starting to shift more manufacturing to the US. Are you seeing your CPG and brand clients looking more into that, or is that still, a difficult thing to do when you have a price conscious consumer?
Yeah, it's I won't name the company, but there's one of my very close, it's actually my cousin-in-law owns a large e-commerce retailer, and he's actually moving a lot of his apparel-based sourcing to Mexico. So whether it's US or North America, I think is he's trying to take a little bit of the bite out of the inconsistencies that he's seeing with either freight charges or just freight fulfillment. And so trying to kind of get his mix right in terms of how he's thinking about sourcing product within either on a boat or over a truck.
Right. Yeah. Truett, anything you'd add here? What are your thoughts?
The only thing I would add is, if we've learned anything from the past few years, it's that disruptions in the supply chain are inevitable. And so hopefully, what we've discussed with our clients is just being flexible, redundancy, having multiple options in terms of getting, product from international markets to DC to store. It's going to be, important going forward. And this disruption doesn't seem like it's near what we've experienced in the past couple of years, but there will always be these types of incidents that pop up, and let's not get caught flat-footed again.
Right. Yeah, Chris, what do you think after hearing what Jeff and
No,
Peter have to
I think
say?
Truett summed it up well there. To me, this is nothing new, honestly. Like I can remember port strikes going back to like 2003, I think, with the gap, like that long ago, around 2002, 2003, seeing the the ships in the bay there, lining up, and you've seen pictures like that over the last 2 years too. So the playbook's been written in my, from my
Yeah.
point of view. So like everyone's looking at contingencies, they're trying to figure out what to do. The important thing for me is just say I feel for everyone involved because when you have to go through a year like this, if you're in planning and allocation in a retailer or supply chain functions, your job just sucks. And these guys' jobs have sucked for the past, 3 years. And now this is going to potentially add to that. So I feel for you guys out there, Ed and I do. And just
You've got
thinking about you. A
you've
lot
got
on your plate.
A lot coming at you.
Yeah.
Between this and social media changing your planning and allocation at the last minute, like, man, you all deserve a nice happy hour.
It's a tough job,
Yeah.
retail is, and